And then I woke up to an unknown number of hours having passed since my eyes had last been open. I don't remember falling asleep. My body was aching in ways that suggested I had been in pain when I did finally wake up, which I obviously wasn't. And right away I knew something was wrong because although I could still feel the residual effects of whatever had hurt me, I couldn't remember anything about what had happened or why I was in such pain. As I sat there struggling to piece together any kind of coherent narrative from the jumbled mess of images and feelings in my head, my gaze fell on the figure sitting opposite me, shrouded in shadow, illuminated only by the firelight flickering across their face. They were watching me intently with a look of concern on their face. "Who are you?" I asked them. The figure didn't respond verbally, but they did respond non-verbally, and they did so by standing up and holding out their hand to me. Their features were still obscured by shadow, but as they came closer, I began to make out the shape of their face, the contours of their form. And as they got even closer, I saw that it was a woman. She had fiery red hair and emerald green skin. Her eyes were pools of molten gold, and her expression was one of sympathy mixed with sorrow. "Who are you?" I asked again, this time a little louder. "Do you know who you are?" she asked back, her voice like the rustling of leaves in the wind. I don't. The last thing I remembered was being in my bed. I remembered nothing else. "Where am I?" I asked. "You are in the house of mist and memories," she said, gesturing to the room around us, which I realized was not a room at all, but a single gigantic cavern filled with fog and swirling mists that obscured everything beyond arm's reach. "This place is tied to you somehow, but how?" She shook her head. "It doesn't seem to want to tell me," and she gestured to the mists again. "It's afraid, hiding from you." She turned back to me and reached out a hand to touch my arm, but when she did, I flinched and pulled away from her. Her touch sent a jolt of pain through me, like being pricked by 1,000 needles. "What?" I exclaimed. "Why does touching me hurt so much?" "I don't know," she whispered, her voice filled with sadness. "But I think you already do." As if on cue, the mists around us began to swirl faster and faster until they coalesced into a single humanoid shape. It was vaguely male in appearance, tall and thin, with long flowing hair and a beard that reached all the way down to its waist. His face was obscured by a hood, but he radiated an aura of power and authority that was undeniable. He stepped out of the mists and bowed his head slightly in my direction. "Who are you?" I asked him, though I already had a good idea of the answer. "I am the house," he boomed, his voice echoing throughout the cavern. "And you, young one, are my new caretaker." "The caretaker," I repeated, trying to wrap my mind around the concept. What did that even mean? Why had the house chosen me? And why did the mere touch of the woman with the red hair send pain shooting through my body? And who was I anyway? All I knew was that I had questions, so many questions. But the house didn't stick around to provide answers. With a swirl of its misty robes, it vanished, leaving me alone once more with the woman and the fire.